Hi guys, Vimto here. So in today's video, I'm going to show you some default Mirage utility to help you win a lot more games, whether it be matchmaking, face it, or anything you really want to play. I'm going to start off with the A site here, as it's the most simple. There are three main smokes you want to know for A. It's CT, jungle, and the stairs smoke. These three smokes paired together are really going to help any team take the A site on and execute. It allows the ramp players to come out and full focus the default and under balcony position without worrying as much from an enemy AWPer behind these smokes. Without these smokes, they just get picked off, so these are really helpful. I'm going to start off by showing you how to throw the CT smoke. So from ramp, you're going to run down here, line up with the middle of this doorway, as shown. You're going to aim at this corner, and you're going to hit your jump throw bind. If you do not have a jump throw bind, I really recommend just quickly Googling it and setting one up, as it's very helpful to hit consistent smokes. This smoke is the best, as it doesn't have a gap along here, as well as when the enemy AWPer jumps on ticket, they cannot see anything at all. The smoke completely blocks it, unless they jump right up on top, which in that case, it's a free kill for you guys. The next smoke I'm going to throw is the jungle smoke. This one, you're going to jump up here from this way. Line up in the middle of here. Aim as shown. So you want to aim just about here in between this and this. And then you're just going to simply left click throw. No jump throw, nothing else. Just a simple left click. It's going to bounce and land in the center. Bear in mind, with any jungle smoke you can throw, there's always going to be a tiny little bit of a gap. It's either on the left or the right. I prefer it on the left, so people pushing through this side don't have a little bit to work with. The next smoke I'm going to show you is the stairs smoke. You throw this one from this position here. Just run, jump along here, and then aim in the center of this rectangle sky part where I'm showing you with my crosshair. You just aim roughly about in the middle and just left click throw. That's going to bounce across and smoke off stairs. Also, I'm going to show you some extra pieces of utility to pair with the three smokes that I've just shown you. So you're going to want three of your players to stand at ramp. You're going to want one person in palace ready to go out, and then your person who just throw your CT smoke is going to pull out their flashbang, aim at the top of the lamp as shown, and just left click throw. This flash is really helpful to blind anyone that is holding the ramp position. If you're playing default, you're going to get fully blinded. Same with this side of default. The CT AWPer is going to get blinded for a second, so they will have to shoot or unscope. Same with anyone peeking out from jungle side or triple, they will get blinded. So that flash is really helpful for when your players push out. The first person out is going to want to have their gun out, ready to frag anyone peeking. The second person is going to be their support player, so he needs a molly, ready to molly this jungle smoke just behind the bench, so any CT player can't push through it and get to this bench position just here. It's really powerful. And with one molly, it just completely isolates this guy because he's smoked off stairs. He can't help his site player. That molly is really important. That second person is then going to lob a flash, just like this, over stairs to blind anyone coming over. Third guy with their molly, they're going to molly just behind triple. As shown. Palace guy, your job is to molly the under balcony position, just like this. With these three mollies and the three smokes, paired with that one flash, your A site take is going to be crisp. There will be no positions where the enemies can hide. Under balcony will be mollied. Triple will be mollied. Jungle peak will be mollied. The only place you're going to die from is CT, which you can focus. You then have an open plant spot for anywhere on the site. You can either plant here, which is really powerful for mid, or you can plant reverse default, or just this side of triple. That is the perfect A-site smoke, and I can't stress it enough. You really need this utility. Right guys, so the next area we're going to focus on is mid. Mid should be taken on Mirage most times on every single round. It is a very vital piece of map control you should have as a T player. Window should be smoked every round. Same with this part of short, and sometimes top con or bottom con. It is very important. So from T-spawn, there are a few smokes you can throw to help your team take mid. The first one is just a default top mid smoke. You're going to jump on the bin, aim at this part of the antenna, and just left click throw. That's very easy to throw. And just smokes this part of catwalk, so the AWP in window can't peek you. Same with con. The next smoke you're going to learn is the window smoke. This one is kind of hard, but once you've got it, you got it. So you're going to come to the bin, crouch down, aim where shown with the crosshair, so just on this trim of the door here. And then you're going to crouch forwards and release when your crosshair gets to the bottom of this white bit. So it sounds a bit complicated. You're going to pull your pin, crouch forwards, and jump throw when it gets to this part just here. It's going to jump in window, and it's going to smoke that off perfectly. When you're taking mid, you really need to listen out for a molly extinguish sound, because if the enemy mollies that window smoke, it's going to make a one-way for them. The third smoke you should know for middle is going to be the top con smoke. So you're going to come to this part of ramp, aim at this antenna, and you're just going to jump through. This is going to smoke off top con. When you're taking mid control, you should always have a player coming to take ramp as well, just so there's some presence on A. That player can also throw this smoke just so your team can get yourself con control. The fourth smoke for middle is going to be short. It's thrown on top of the bin. Or sorry, next to the bin just here. You're going to aim here with your crosshair and just jump through. That's going to smoke off short. So again, these three smokes are going to be very, very important to take mid. Some extra utility you can throw in mid while doing a mid default is just a flash straight over here, which will blind the open window. Same with con. That's full blind for window there. And then inside of connector, holding from this angle here, which is very powerful, they will be also blind. Same with short. So that flash is again really powerful to get your teammates out top mid. If you call when you're throwing it, these guys can swing on the window guy. As well as the first person should have a molly for top con. You need to really make sure that your molly lands on top of the ledge here, so the AWP can't peek over their bottom con smoke. Because 9 out of 10 rounds, the AWP in con is going to throw this smoke just here to peek over, and with this molly, it stops them doing that completely. Same with a catwalk molly just here to stop them pushing through. That is how you get default mid control every round. I'm not going to go too much into strats, but that is just how you take mid control with utility. Alright, so I want to show you some B site utility now. We're going to start with smokes. There are 3 main smokes for B. There is one in this corner just here. You crouch down, aim at the top of this building roof just here where my crosshair is, and then jump throw bind, and that will fly through the roof and it will smoke off the window. Just like so. There is 2 smokes for either side of the arches, left and right, which can be paired together to make a really nice smoke take. You're going to stand in the middle of this window, aim in between this antenna and the building canopy, and then left click through. And then for the left side one, you're going to come to this dark patch on the wall underneath the arrow, aim in the corner here, and jump through. And that is how you smoke off both the arches. These 2 smokes can be really, really helpful for this first player out of B apps to jump straight out the window and isolate the short guy without worrying about getting shot from jail, ban, etc. Some extra utility you can throw. When your team is pushing through apps, you should have one guy standing back with a flash, ready to just run forwards and jump through it over the roof. This is a really, really helpful flash just to blind any players playing jail, bench, this side for some reason. Even an AWP inside of window, if you cannot afford a smoke, that flash is going to be really, really helpful to blind the AWP holding the angle. Your first player out should have a flash ready to come to the left side of this door, run forwards and bounce it out the window as shown. This is another really helpful flash. You can then also throw flashes out of this window, as well as throwing a flash just off the back door of this van. It will go down and it will flash people on short. The first player out should always jump straight out of the window and isolate this short person, while the rest of his team clear van and bench. You should always molly off van as shown, and bench too. If you have an extra molly for takes, throwing a molly just over the canopy to molly door is really, really helpful. I always see people forgetting that you can throw nades over this middle market part. There is nothing stopping you throwing anything over these, over the roof here. Anything will be thrown, and it is very helpful. It's not isolated enough. So that's how you take B site. Alright guys, so switching over to the CT side on Mirage, I'm going to show you some quick utility for each of the positions for Mirage. You're going to have 2 people playing on A site, either from CT, just here, default, under balcony, or con and stairs. So you're going to have a left side site player and a right side site player. If the enemy is taking Mirage A site quite often, you might want to play from con and CT. So that way you can fall off when they do their take, and you can retake it with some nice nades. Every round on Mirage A site, you're going to want 1 player to molly ramp, just as shown. Just a left click running through. And this molly is really, really important to stop people rushing out and getting those early kills on people crossing. Never smoke ramp early, always molly it. After the molly, you're going to want to smoke it later on in the round. So I'm going to show you some quick ways to smoke it. You come in this corner, aim as shown, and left click throw. That's going to be a nice lineup, which is going to be a very solid ramp smoke, which you can throw every time. If you don't want to get in this very rigid position and throw it as a lineup, you can kind of just get the hang of it and run and bounce it off the little ledge there, and it'll land in roughly the same position. But please, please, please do not be one of these people that smokes ramp like this and just lobs it in there and hopes. Because these smokes do not work. They way too deep in the corner, and players can see through them. Just like so. Please do not throw these smokes that land like this. They are terrible. If you're playing under balcony and want to save your smoke and help your stairs player, you can stand as shown, aim, and just shift walk forwards and throw. It's going to smoke off Palace for your stairs player. Smoking Palace twice in the round may be really useful instead of ramp. It's up to you, really. As a stairs player, you should be flashing your mid-window guy every round. By doing this, it really helps you get the pick. You're going to run and just flash over the palm tree as shown. This flash, I'll show you from the enemy's perspective. You're going to really get blind as you push out. It's going to really help your window player control mid more often. As a con player, there's 2 options you can do with your smoke. You have to decide this on the fly, and it's a very, very important position con. You can either save your smoke to smoke ramp or palace, or you can help fight mid with your window guy. This is a very common way if they take mid a lot, which most teams do. You're going to run forwards and just bounce it off here, and you can use this smoke to really take control over this short position here, as well as get aggressive and peek over towards top mid. This is a really, really powerful smoke. On the other hand, you can smoke Palace off to help your A player, just by doing a quick run throw. Doesn't really need to be precise. Or you can smoke off ramp. You can smoke off ramp in just like this. Just aim roughly around here and just throw it. And then that will smoke off ramp. So each round you really need to work out the risk versus reward, whether you want to fight mid or help your A player and save your utility. If the enemies do an A execute with said smokes, you really want to have this molly ready to molly off Palace to help your site player. Without that molly, the Palace guys are free to run out, and it's very important to have it. So try and save your molly if you're a con player. The next position I'm going to show you is the window player. This player is most likely going to be your AWPer. It's going to be a very vital role. So the default thing you're going to do is you're going to come along here and just aim top mid with your AWP and try and get that early pick. If you're going to get smoked off from top mid along here, you're really relying on your con player to hold across the boxes, and he needs to call to you when they cross, so you can start worrying about this right side of the boxes. Until then, you're going to be posted with the AWP on the smoke that they throw and just throwing pop shots through it, trying to get an early kill. If the enemies are smoking window a lot, which is very common in higher level games, you're going to want one of your B players to run along and just break the vent for you. You're then going to follow up behind with a molly, and you're just going to run in and throw it like so. Paired with the window smoke, it's going to make a nice little one-way for you after the molly extinguishes. You can have a nice one-way you can peek off and catch a lot of players off. However, if you do this every round, they're going to be ready for it, and they might even delay their window smoke. But this is a nice cheeky trick to try and get that early pick, catching off unexpected players. It's very simple. There's not really much you can do regarding utility as a window player. There are a few one-ways you can throw. There's one, you just line up here on the table and just left click at the hammer. This is going to make a nice little left side one-way. Maybe get a cheeky little kill. You can also throw the same smoke by here in the little wooden horse thingy. Aiming at this little bullet mark and just left click throwing. It's going to bounce on the window ledge. And again, you can have a nice little one-way. This one you have a bit more vision. It's going to be a nice one-way. If you are stuck left side window and they molly you, you can just smoke it, or you can do a nice little right click just like this. It will bounce on the window and again give you a nice little one-way. There is a lot of options you can do. If you are smoked off window and you need to help your mid players, if you jump up on this wooden horse, aim here, left click your molly, come out here with it smoked, and then run forwards and left click throw. It will molly behind the boxes and really help your players to get some free kills. Other than that, there's not much you can do. You can throw a few flashes down, right click a molly underground. Even with that one-way lineup I showed you, you can flash the same way and it will be a nice little flash for the mid guys. But as a window player, there's really not much utility you can do. If you get smoked off in window and you don't have any utility to help, there is one thing you should do. You should come to this position here and you should post on palace, so your con player doesn't have to worry about it and he can take mid for you while you're holding his palace. It's a nice little switch, but you need to communicate it so you're not both holding the same thing. Alright guys, on to B. I don't really play B, but there's a few mollies and stuff that you can throw. Most of them are just off the fly. Your short player is going to really want to molly this on the way up, just stop an instant B rush. Then want to go quiet and listen for steps up in apps. If you are running along here, they'll really hear it and it's a big warning sign that they're rushing B. You're then going to want to come to short and support your mid players. If this is smoked, sometimes you can just hold this and hold to the side of the smoke for your AWPer. There's also a nice few flashes you can do. If you call these flashes, other players can peek off with them and get some nice kills. Just any of these flashes really will blind the enemy's top mid coming out. They really, really are helpful. You can either play short from inside of ladder room, where you can kind of jump up here and hold your underbout for your window player, as well as peek off to useless and chair. To get to ladder room, I'd recommend just doing one of these flashes I just showed you, and then just jumping into ladder room. Or if you want to get aggressive, you can use your smoke as shown. Just left click it there. You can get nice up here, peek the boxes, jump up on top of the railings, peek over the smoke, etc, etc. If your B apps player calls a rush, you should really get offshore. Let your mid player and con player worry about it and get back to here and watch this window jump. They're always going to jump out of the window. So either play under it and be ready, or from back here and be ready. As a B apps player, your short player is going to molly it for you, so you don't need to worry about it. You should save your molly until you see them. The main thing you should be doing on B is just doing a nice little jump spot here, ready to see anyone. With this jump spot, you want to jump when you're at the lowest point of this little ramp, and then run sideways so they really don't have a chance to shoot you. I see a lot of people doing stuff like this, and it's just giving the enemy AWPer a real free chance to get a pick on you if they're peeking you. So jumping at the lowest point and just doing like that is a lot less chance to get picked than if you are all the way out here. When you see a rush coming into B, you should have your molly at van ready, and you can just either left click it off here and get it into there, or you can just left click it off the wall. That's a bit deeper. Any of these mollies are really, really helpful to stop that rush. Then you can pair it with some flashes like this, which will be a pop flash for the door, or a window one, and then you should try and fall back to jail and get a crossfire of your short player, or bench, or backside. Nades as well. I don't have one at the moment, but if you have a nade, you can just throw it deep in apps. That's a nice nade to get some cheeky damage. For smokes wise, as a B player, you can smoke off this. It's not going to be very helpful though. I really do recommend not smoking that and just jump spotting. that jump spot gives you so much info before they push, it's unbelievable. So smoking it might not be the best option. I'd recommend saving your smoke, and as I said, do your anti-rush utility, molly that, flash up here to stop them, and then I'd come back to jail and drop a smoke just here. And then you can really play off that smoke. They have to fully commit through the smoke or onto site to clear you, and it can be enough time to get your rotates to help. You really are just trying to lure rotates and win the round for your team, really. That's all I have for you guys on Mirage, without getting into strats. If you guys want to see some strats on Mirage, feel free to let me know, and I might make a follow-up video. Thanks for watching, guys.